every day this week about 10 o'clock, and where we're getting an update from our Kerr County officials, and then we're just waiting on that to happen. But every day we've been receiving an update. Unfortunately, we've been receiving an update about how many more people have died in the catastrophic flooding, and how many more people are missing.
That's right, Steph. And again, that press conference coming to you from the Hill Country Youth Event Center in Kerrville. And we've been able to hear from not only city officials, but county officials as well, the sheriff there and the mayor also. And as you just mentioned, Steph, unfortunately, we've seen these death toll numbers rise with every one of these press conferences. Yesterday afternoon, or yesterday early evening, the city of Kerrville did send out another notice saying that they had identified the 96th victim as part of these devastating flooding. There's also 8 victims right now that have been reported in Kendall County. So, and I do want to clarify, 96 victims that they found. That's not all people that have been identified yet.
Right.
Yes.
We're still waiting on a lot of identification right now, and still busy working. And yesterday they also kind of put into perspective kind of what the rescue crews and first responders are having to deal with as far as the terrain, and just very hard, difficult to get around right there, during these search efforts. And not only then, but also it was difficult to get around when the actual flooding was happening. We were hearing a first account from a Kerrville police officer, just a little bit about what they were seeing, like in the very first hours of that flood, how they were basically trapped because it's Highway 39.
Highway 39, yes.
That kind of crisscrosses with the Guadalupe River, and that, basically in Hunt, that they were on an island for a while. They could hear people screaming. They were telling them, we'll be right there, through the loudspeaker, but they could not get to them. So very, very frustrating for the first responders in that Hunt area. And
we've been hearing from other officials that are part of the recovery efforts, as well as we're showing to you some video there of some of the aftermath of the July 4th flooding, including we heard a couple of days ago from Texas game wardens, kind of what their whole process is as they were continuing to search. I believe they said that up until a couple of days ago, they had searched about 26 miles along the Guadalupe River. We also, as Stephanie mentioned, heard from the Kerrville Police Department. And basically the way they described it is that with the amount of low water crossings that they've seen along 39 and the Guadalupe, that a lot of these folks were unfortunately kind of just stuck on an island, whether they were in their vehicle, whether maybe they were in an RV or a potential campground or campsite. They were just stuck as these waters continue to rage around them. And even the sheriff, Letha, even talked about how the cell service is there and how difficult it was to be responding to this on July 4th, and with the low water crossings as well. Even if you weren't trapped, if you were trying to get somewhere, it became very difficult. He keep in mind, somehow narrow some of those roadways are, and even when weather conditions are good, there are some areas that even have signs there for falling rock, falling debris, and that people have to be careful with. And so there's a lot that they have been going through. They kind of expressed a little bit of that yesterday's press conference. Yeah, so again, we are standing by for this press conference scheduled to start at around 10 a.m. But something that Justin has been talking about throughout our entire morning here on Good Morning San Antonio has been just the amount of rainfall. And again, I'm just astounded by just how much rain fell, and specifically just along the Guadalupe River. I mean, it is really stunning to see those numbers.
That watershed for the Guadalupe River is, it's sizable, but where this rain fell, right over the North and South Fork, I mean, you want to talk about worst case scenario. As I said yesterday, I feel like if this heavy rain, if this 10 to 12 inches of rain would have fallen 20 miles to the east or 20 miles to the west, we wouldn't be talking about this right now. It is just the exact location that it fell was worst possible place. And I was struck yesterday by and I don't remember his name, but he was talking about the fact that in order to do this recovery, they've got to move cars, they've got to move trees. There's multiple layers to get through, and this is going to be a really long process. And I know they are putting in a ton of hours. They talked about their police officers just volunteering to put in extra hours. These guys are doing incredible work, and I know their heart is hurting too because they've lost friends and loved ones. So our thoughts go out to those guys as they work and guys and gals who are working to do these recovery efforts.
Yeah, well, we do thank everybody for their efforts. And speaking of that, we have the press conference starting right now. So let's go ahead and listen to the update.
I shared some of the stories of the heroic actions of my fellow City of Kerrville police officers during their response. I know those are things that our community has seen, and we felt it was important to share that with the public. This morning's briefing will be a little bit more to the point. The response here in Kerr County continues to expand as the mission becomes more technical. There's more than 2,100 responders on the ground here from state, local, and federal agencies working to reunite victims with families. 10 states have sent specially trained teams to our community, and 2 more states are en route. As I know many of you have reported, the governor, lieutenant governor, and the Speaker of the House are strongly committed to helping our community. And we're grateful that they're making our recovery a priority in the upcoming special legislative session. Our City of Kerrville and Kerr County leadership are committed to a transparent and full review of processes and protocols. The special session is going to be a starting point for that work, but our entire focus since day one has been on rescue and reunification, which leads me to our latest report. As of 8 a.m. this morning, there have been 96 confirmed deaths, 60 adults, and 36 children. The number of missing remains at 161, and there remain 5 campers and 1 counselor from Camp Mystic among the missing. If family members had reported a loved one missing and they've returned safely, we ask that you notify us through kerrvillemissing@dps.texas.gov or call 830-258-1111. Again, that's kerrvillemissing@dps.texas.gov or call 830-258-1111. Additionally, the state of Texas, FEMA, the Small Business Administration have opened a disaster recovery center here in Kerrville for those who have been affected by the storms. It's currently open at the First Baptist Church here in Kerrville at 625 Washington Street. It'll be open from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day. The Individual Assistance Program can provide financial support for things like medical and dental assistance, vehicle damage, housing, child care, and replacing essential items, even for non-residents who were impacted by the floods. You can visit disasterassistance.gov, use the FEMA app, or call 1-800-621-3362. And again, that's disasterassistance.gov. Use the FEMA app or call 1-800-621-3362. And in closing, I'd like to say one more time, on behalf of our Unified Command here in Kerr County, how appreciative we are for the help since this tragedy took place. People from all over Texas, all over the country, continue to show their support in so many ways, and we are thankful. And with that, I'll take a few questions.
Yes, sir.
Chief.
Yes. Morgan Chesky, NBC News. Did the inability of police radios to communicate directly with county radios hamper rescue or recovery efforts as those water froze?
I don't have any information to that point.
Sergeant Lang.
Yes, sir.
Jason Allen, CBS News. Given that you still have people who live in this area, what's different? What changes have been made to ensure you get heavy rain again a week from now, a month from now, you don't wind up in the same situation?
I think that's an important question, and as we are aware, we've been very weather alert throughout the entirety of this, and that's something that we're going to be looking at. Thank you.
Sergeant Lang, can I get a question?
Anthony Johns, News 4 San Antonio. What can you tell us about the current search area, how large it is, how much of it has been searched, and how exactly does the grid system work for something like this?
Say the last part of your question again, please.
How does the grid system work for a disaster like this?
Okay, so the grid system, I'm not a search and rescue recovery expert, so I don't want to speak out of turn, but it is a methodical search which ensures that every area in an area to be searched is covered and searched, and that no stone is left unturned. Unfortunately, I don't have a exact number of how many miles of river that we've searched or how many people who have been out there. I just don't have that information for you, but I'm happy to follow up.
Sir, last question. This will be last question.
Yes. Are there messages that we as a collective media are not getting out there? For example, are you hindering some searches? What can we tell people who want to come up with big equipment to help search or remove debris? Hasn't that been a problem?
I don't want to say it's been a problem because we're so grateful for the amount of people who want to come to this community to help. And we've had people from all over the state and all over the country volunteer their services and say, I have a front end loader, I have a boat, I have this. Groups and individuals, but it's important that we have certified professional search teams out there right now. We have compiled a database of volunteers who have made themselves available, and if and when that time comes that we are able to call upon them, we will be calling upon them. In the short term, I believe that all of our basic needs are being met, both through the federal and state response and the support that we've been getting, as well as this community rising up in a really unprecedented way to show their support for all of us here. Thank you very much.
That's the end of the press conference. If you are not receiving emails from Joint Information Center,
And if you're just joining us now, that wrapped up the press conference for today. Probably one of the shortest ones we've had this week. And we had a Kerrville police officer, Jonathan Lamb, speak with us about a little bit about the update. He did say that the efforts continue with responders on the ground. There's about 2,100 responders on the ground. We have people from all over 10 states that are sending in special teams to help with the search efforts right now.
That's right. And Officer Lamb gave us an update on the amount of bodies that unfortunately been found after the July 4th flooding, and that has not changed. So that stayed the same from the update that we received yesterday evening from Kerr County officials as well. So that stays at, unfortunately, 96 deaths, 60 adults, and 36 children. Now, all of those individuals have not been identified yet, so they're still in the process of reaching out to family, next of kin, to make sure that they identify those individuals.
And he did briefly mention Jonathan Lamb with the Kerrville Police Department also that they are still going to look for answers, that they don't have all those answers. I know a lot of the Kerr County officials were pressed yesterday for some of those answers. He says that they are looking into a full review, but that he believes a lot of these answers will come through during the special legislative session that's going to be happening soon. So he also said that right now their priority is that rescue and reunification. He also mentioned, because talking about all the missing, that number still remains as of right now of missing 161 people missing, and this includes 5 campers and 1 counselor from the camp hardest hit, Camp Mystic. And they are asking people, if they do know that their loved one has been found, to please contact them to let them know so they can have a better idea. And that number is 830-258-1111.
And just want to reiterate again, we are expected to hear from the Ingram Volunteer Fire Department later again today at 3 o'clock. I believe Devin Karp is covering this story for us, but yesterday they did say that right now they want everyone to steer clear of the riverbank zone between Ingram and Hunt, and that is an area that they are specifically focusing on, not only with debris but also in the potential recovery of other people that may have lost their lives due to this catastrophic flooding.
And they also let us know that they have that FEMA Recovery Center in Kerrville, that's going to be open today from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. And we will continue to keep you posted here on KSAT.
All right, we'll be back after this break.